Hey guys, welcome back to the 100-year-old barn build. If you're not familiar with this, then you're definitely not familiar with the fact that 2 years ago, all of this open area looked just like that. So first, we cleared it all off. Now we're working on building our barn out here that we're gonna live in. We've made a lot of good progress, but we still have a few more things to do before we're ready to put the slab in. We've gotten our plumbers in here. They've put all of their stuff in, inspection done. All of that was passed. Now we're ready to start really finalizing the slab detail and getting ready to install our radiant heating. The way this is gonna work is we're gonna have a vapor barrier that's gonna go over our rock, a 2-inch foam, then we're gonna put our radiant pipe in. 1.5 inches above, we're gonna put our rebar. So the first thing that has to go down is a vapor barrier. I decided to go with a 10 mil vapor barrier because if we're gonna do it, might as well get the thickest stuff I can find. After we get this vapor barrier down and we overlap everything and tape the edges and tape the seams, then we're gonna be ready to go ahead and put our green insulation foam in. We're out here yet again working on this slab prep. We have all of our vapor barrier down and we finally got some of this foam delivered. So our next step right now is to get this foam laid down so we can get this insulated and then we can get our radiant started to run. We're gonna put radiant heating in this whole barn. So that has to go right there on top of our foam insulation. This foam is just 2-inch R10 foam. This really is not necessarily required, but because we're doing radiant, it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and put this in. It'll create a thermal break between the ground and our radiant, which will make our heating a lot more efficient. Let me show you guys a couple of details. So because this ground is not perfectly flat, some of these things we're cutting a little wide. We'll come back, we'll spray foam that when we get some time. Same with these pipes. As we go around these pipes, we're not worried about perfection here. We have plenty of room to come back with some spray foam and seal this up. These boards are going together good, but you can see they're not really perfect and they honestly just don't have to be. We're doing more than enough insulation that a little imperfection in this isn't gonna cause any kind of problem. Now, around the drains, we're giving ourselves plenty of room to get concrete in here and to really support the underside of this. We don't wanna crowd this drain with a bunch of foam where it's gonna move and end up cracking the concrete. So we want this portion to be completely embedded. Going around these pipes so far has been a lot easier than expected. So I think at this rate, probably tomorrow we'll be able to get out here, finish the last bit of this up, and then jump right into starting to lay our radiant PEX. We have about 4,000 feet of this PEX pipe to go down. If you guys are familiar with a guy, Mr. Postframe on YouTube, he works with a company called the Blue Ridge Company, and he introduced me to them. What they do is they'll actually design your whole system into one package and sell it to you as a kit. And they were running some good sales, so we went ahead and purchased the whole kit. So I feel really good about that. It might have been a little more expensive, but I know that what we're going to get is the right things for us, and we still get to do all the work and save all of the labor on that. I got this cheap little $80 PEX stapler online, and let me tell you, for 80 bucks with the staples, it does a mighty fine job. It was gonna be almost $700 for the staples for this project, and to be honest, I'm not sure if that was even gonna be enough. So I was able to buy this stapler plus the extra staples. I think I'm in it for like 150 bucks altogether. And they do just fine. You might have to use more staples than you would with one of the fancier setups, but man, save the money. I don't see any reason to buy the more expensive stuff. I'm sure it all comes out of China anyways. I don't really see there being much of a difference, to be honest. Our engineer really wants this rebar to be tied into our perimeter foundation wall. In fact, they wanted us to set that when we first poured this foundation. But because that was going to be too much work and too difficult with our form boards, we decided that we would just drill the holes and anchor them in later. I purchased these clips from Lowe's. They're just rebar chairs. What's cool about these is they actually lock on and you don't actually have to tie the rebar when you have this. We are tying this rebar on the areas that don't have those, but that's not everywhere. So these definitely are big time safe, especially when we're setting this up, because if you know anything about rebar chairs, is they like to fall over normally, but these are nice and wide. They lock on tight, and I didn't have near as many issues with my chairs falling over when I was setting my rebar. So the last thing that we have to work on now is to really set all of this PEX up into the manifolds. So we're gonna go ahead and put in the manifold so we can pressure test it and have it all tied off and set up so that whenever we pour concrete, it's nice and out of the way and it works all as we expected.